All right, good morning. My name is Justin Jackson, and I'm the Executive Director for the City of St. Louis Community Development Administration. I am here today with CDA Director of Compliance and Administration, Tayo Afawape. We would like to welcome attendees to today's public hearing for the 2023 Community Development Block Grant CDBG Home Investment Partnership Home Funding Priority Public Hearing. These priorities are finalized with the submission of our 2023 Annual Action Plan. And the purpose for today's public hearing is to give the public an opportunity to hear about our upcoming funding priorities and give any public comment if they deem necessary. So the Community Development Administration, CDA, has a mission that promotes neighborhood growth and stabilization through community development and the production of new and rehabilitated housing, especially for low and moderate income persons. As I mentioned, the purpose of today's training earlier, some of our items on our agenda today will include an overview of CDBG and home entitlement programs, an overview of 2023 citizen participation, as well as the funding priorities for 2023. And finally, towards the end, if there are any comments from the public, we will allow for any comments to be given at that time. Please know that all information presented here today will be available on the CDA website at the conclusion of the presentation. And at this time, I would like to turn the presentation over to Tayo.
All right, thank you, Justin. Let me first start the presentation.
Tayo, can you turn your volume up just a little bit?
Oh, sure. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Tayo Afawape, and I am the Director of Administration and Compliance with the Community Development Administration. Thank you for joining today's public hearing for the funding priorities under the Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnerships. The mission of Community Development Administration, or CDA, is to promote neighborhood growth and stabilization through community development and the production of new and rehabilitated housing, especially for low and moderate income persons. To execute this mission, CDA receives an annual allocation of CDBG and home funding from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, to administer entitlement programs within the city of St. Louis. Today, I will explain why CDA is conducting this public hearing, followed by presenting an overview of what entitlement programming is as it relates to CDBG and home allocations. Next, I will summarize ways that CDA encourages community feedback, not only today, but also during other critical stages of the funding process. Furthermore, I will review, based upon prior community feedback, the funding priorities for next year's allocation. After the conclusion of the presentation, I will reserve time for public comments. So what is the purpose of a public hearing? The purpose of a public hearing is for CDA to fulfill a HUD requirement as an administrator of CDBG and home funding. CDA is required to solicit public feedback during critical phases of the funding process, such as today, to establish funding prioritization before allocating funding. Funding priorities are based upon a 5-year consolidated plan that is created from data-driven analysis from community feedback to determine community needs and priorities. An action plan is a yearly snapshot of the consolidated plan. More specifically, today's funding priorities are based upon CDA's 2020 through 2024 consolidated plan. our 2023 action plan, which will include your public comments, specifies which projects will be annually funded based upon the priorities and goals set in the consolidated. CDA posts prior year and most current consolidated and annual action plans for your review on the CDA website as indicated on the slide. CDBG and home entitlement programs provide grants to entitled cities and counties. These grants are non-competitive, but the amount allocated is formula-based, contingent upon the demographics of the city or county being awarded. CDBG and home can fund a variety of activities, but some basic requirements must be fulfilled. The most fundamental provisions of CDBG regulations require that activities must meet at least one of 3 national objectives. Most activities awarded benefit persons who are low and moderate income. Persons who are defined as being lower and moderate income have income that is no more than 80% of the current annual median income based on household or family size. Activities can also meet a national objective by eliminating a slum or blighted area. The area must be defined and meet the definition of slum or blighted area, either under state or local law and or through a blighting study. Activities meeting the urgent need national objective must address emergency situations that pose a serious and immediate threat to the health or welfare of the community. Meeting this national objective is rare, including for activities that prevent, prepare for, and or respond to the coronavirus. Activities directly related to the pandemic would more likely fit under the first national objective of serving low and moderate income persons. Home funds are limited to providing housing that benefits low and moderate income persons. Activities funded with home are primarily administered through another subsection of CDA called housing production, who are responsible for the production of new housing units. More information about housing production will be discussed in upcoming slides. There are many ways CDA encourages citizen participation during all stages of the funding process. As stated before, citizens help in identifying community needs and setting the priorities during the creation of the 2020-2024 Consolidated Plan. Today, CDA is encouraging citizens to suggest the types of programming CDA should administer to meet those priority needs. After the creation of a draft annual action plan, CDA will hold another public hearing for the residents to determine how programs will be implemented. Here is CDA's 2023 funding priority citizen participation process. On July 1st of 2022, CDA notified citizens about the funding priorities and public comment period through CDA's distribution list of key community stakeholders and an advertisement posted in the St. Louis American. The funding priorities were also posted on the CDA website, as indicated on the slide, and made available at the offices of CDA located at 1520 Market, Suite 2000. The following areas have been identified as priorities for funding through the 2020-2024 Consolidated Plan. There are 3 goals associated with the affordable housing priority. One goal is improving the affordability of decent housing through housing-related services. CDA is accepting proposals from agencies that provide down payment and closing cost assistance to low and moderate income homebuyers residing within the city of St. Louis. Another goal associated with this priority is to improve affordability of decent housing through the production of new housing units. This goal is primarily met using home funding administered by CDA's Housing Production section. This section funds nonprofits and for-profit developers to renovate dilapidated buildings or develop vacant land with the assistance of CDA staff who provide technical assistance to funded projects. This spring, the Housing Production section has already issued a Notice of Funding Availability, or NOFA, to competitively select projects. For more information about the NOFA, please go to the CDA website. Rehabilitation of housing is another way to meet the affordable housing priority. CDA is accepting proposals for construction management to support the CDA-operated Healthy Home Repair Program, which provides major repairs to low and moderate income citywide homeowners. For more information about the Healthy Home Repair Program, please call 314-657-3888. Fostering another way to support housing rehabilitation, CDA is also accepting proposals from agencies offering energy efficiency, weatherization, and accessibility repairs to homeowners 62 and older or with disabilities. To meet the planning priority, the city's Planning and Urban Design Agency, or PDA, will effectively provide neighborhood and comprehensive planning to improve the quality of life of city residents. Most proposals fall under the public service priority, as it is the most diverse of all priorities, ranging from youth and senior programming to offender re-entry programming. Several city departments will be responsible for some of the public service activities offered to city residents, which are the following. The St. Louis Area Agency on Aging, or SLAE, will continue to be responsible for the food preparation and delivery services for Meals on Wheels programming. Operation Brightside will continue to reduce litter and graffiti and provide other beautification projects. The city's Department of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry will continue to operate the expanded recreation program in low and moderate income areas. Using city parks and recreation centers, this program provides a safe environment for youth after school and during the summer. The City of St. Louis Counselor's Office, in conjunction with the Department of Safety and City Courts, will continue to operate Problem Property Program, which supports legal remedies to problem properties within the city. Goals associated with economic development encourage job creation and retention for low and moderate income persons, provide business incentives for accessibility, retain and attract for-profit retail businesses and micro-enterprises to the city, and encourage historic preservation and rehabilitation of business properties. St. Louis Development Corporation, or SLDC, is the economic development arm for the City of St. Louis. SLDC will continue to operate the Commercial District Public Improvement and Facade Program, also known as the Neighborhood Commercial District Program, or NCD. NCD will provide facade and public improvement grants within low and moderate income commercial areas within the city. For more information about NCD, please visit the SLDC website at www.stlewis-mo.gov/SLDC. CDA is accepting proposals for micro-enterprise or incubator assistance programming, where organizations provide technical assistance and business support services to owners of micro-enterprises or persons developing incubators used by micro-enterprises. CDA is also accepting proposals for business development programs, where organizations provide financial incentives to businesses that help create or retain jobs for low and moderate income persons. CDA is also accepting proposals under this priority to organizations providing incentives or assistance to businesses addressing the lack of food access in food deserts. CDA is accepting proposals to address the homelessness priority. CDA seeks proposals that provide a full range of services to minimize the number of homeless or at-risk homeless persons, including food, shelter, and/or other emergency needs. The public facilities, improvements, and infrastructure priorities involves construction, rehabilitation, and improvements to public facilities or infrastructures, including improvements to streets and sidewalks, rehabilitation or installation of broadband infrastructure, and other development or rehabilitation of facilities designed to serve a low and moderate income area. Under interim assistance, a category with some overlap with public facilities and improvements, SLDC will continue to operate the LRA maintenance program, which provides maintenance such as tree trimming, lawn maintenance, and boarding up and demolition of abandoned buildings to approximately 7,000 abandoned lots. Under the administration priority, CDA will retain responsibility for administrative tasks, including program management, monitoring, and evaluation of the CDBG and home grant programs. Other city departments, such as the City Councilor's Office, Office of the Comptroller, and SLDC will support this function. SLDC will continue to operate capacity building for minority contractors program under this priority, which will provide technical assistance to minority-owned and women-owned enterprises. This concludes the public hearing presentation. This PowerPoint will be posted on the CDA website immediately following this hearing. I will open the floor for public comments. CDA allowed for the submission of public comments to our CDBG email address and were accepted until 5 p.m. on July 14th of 2022. Let the record show that no written comments were submitted. I will now allow for the opportunity for other forms of public feedback.
Okay, if anyone has any comments, we ask that you put them in the Q&A icon. Looks like someone raised their hand. Let's see. And
I see one person with their hand raised.
yes, how do I? Yes, let's see if you can have that person
Hello.
with your question.
Hello.
Hello, yes, we can hear you.
Hi. This is Dana Gray with Tower Grove Community Development Corporation. Thank you for hosting this public meeting today and for outlining the funding priorities. I wanted to stress the importance of a program that we have helped deliver that helps stretch dollars that the city is expending on housing, and that is for landlord and rehabber training program. In that by providing this educational forum, we are stretching the city dollars so the city doesn't have to be the only entity providing stable housing and working to address vacancy and blight, but we're educating the public so that they can also do that bidding as well. So I hope you will continue to fund that program.
All right, thank you for your comment. And it looks like we have some more under the Q&A. So one person asked, are the CDBG funds only for St. Louis-based businesses? Who is excluded? So the businesses would have to be located within the city of St. Louis to be served.
I'd like to add to that, the businesses, there's a combination of things. The businesses either have to be located in the city and serving the residents of the city of St. Louis, or you don't necessarily have to be physically located in the city, but you do need to, you would have to serve the residents of the city of St. Louis.
Thank you for that clarification. And then the second question is, does CDA or HUD define what and where food deserts exist in St. Louis? Is that available on the CDA website or via HUD instead? And no, so there is not a strict definition of where a food desert is located. It would be the responsibility for anyone that is wanting to submit a proposal under that priority to do their research and to justify why they think a particular area is considered a food desert. And it looks like there is another question.
There's right. If you own a blighted property in the city of St. Louis, are funds available to rehab and rent out the property? So what we do is typically through our NOFA process, which is our notice of funding available specifically for our housing production initiatives, we have specific types of opportunities available for developers and or individuals looking to acquire and or rehab property within the city of St. Louis. What we have coming up at the end of the month is an RFP that we'll be issuing, but that is strictly for non-housing production. So for those interested in any type of development opportunities, those opportunities would exist when a NOFA is released through CDA. Our most recent NOFA was released this past spring, back in February. I believe it was February 15th through the 29th of April. And there are links on the CDA website where one can go on to the website and gain more information about how our NOFA process works and the type of direction that our NOFA process was headed in.
And we're waiting to see if there are any more questions.
We have a few more people with hands up.
There are people with hands up?
Yeah, you should be able to see that.
Okay.
If you look at the attendees.
Yep, I'm not seeing any other persons with hands up at this time, nor I am not seeing any additional questions in the Q&A.
So there were some questions and some hands up. It looks like there are a few questions that that still have to be, or there are still folks that still want to ask questions. So up next is Lori Becker.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you so much for holding this informational session today. And thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. I would like to just speak briefly in support of a potential opportunity for funding regarding something similar to what Dana just spoke of. I'm Lori Becker with the Starclough Disability Institute. We provide training workshops for for architects, designers, community development, and housing advocates on the benefits and uses of universal design. in their projects. And this would allow for the maximization of properties in the city of St. Louis, for them not to be just accessible, but and designed for individuals with disabilities in mind, but they would be usable for all community members. And it would be a tremendous benefit for city residents, for the city of St. Louis, and a good use of funds for more developers and designers to be exposed to the practice of universal design when it comes to building new projects or redeveloping other real estate that is going through, a rehab process. And so we provide this training every other year at a conference, and it's becoming more and more widely known and recognized as a best practice. And so we would love to partner more with the city of St. Louis to train more and more individuals and professionals in the building industry about this, so that not only the disability community can benefit, but all city residents could benefit from this. So thank you very much for the time.
Thank you for your comment. And it looks like Dana Gray has her hand up. Let's see if she can answer live.
Yes, thank you. First, regarding the NOFA funding, is that available to any type of organization or individual, or is it only available to not-for-profit entities? And then my second comment is to Lori Becker. I did not hear what the name of your organization is, but if Tower Grove continues to be funded for the landlord and rehabber training program, I would love to collaborate with you. We should talk. I put my email in the question and answer chat.
Okay, so Dana, to answer your question, the NOFA round, as well as our CDA non-housing RFP application, is specifically for nonprofits and for-profits. Individuals are not eligible to apply for grant funding through CDA. You have to be associated with either a nonprofit, in particular for our non-housing RFP, and for our NOFA, you have to be a nonprofit or a for-profit developer.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
It looks like there's another question related to housing. So is the NOFA the only type of funding available for rehabbing property? The CDBG presentation mentioned housing. Are any of the CDBG funds specifically available to housing development? I will say for this RFP, we are doing or looking for proposals regarding how housing rehabilitation as it pertains to energy efficiency and weatherization for persons who are 62 and older or disabled, as well as a project management entity that can support our healthy home repair program. And also with the NOFA, as was implied with the question, there's also potentially additional funding available for rehabilitation of housing properties. And Making sure I'm looking at the screen correctly. It just looks like there's some exchanges with people sharing information. Let me make sure I am not missing anything. Justin, do you see any other questions or hands up?
I do not.
Okay. Well then, I thank you so much for your time. And this concludes our public hearing. Have a good day.